So today I have some Battlefield 4 news regarding some information you may have seen earlier this week on Reddit, on forums, and even on YouTube, discussing these leaked game modes that were found in the Battlelog code supposedly coming to Battlefield 4. Now this information came about when a Reddit user was digging around in the Battlelog code looking for DLC content, and came across these game mode names that are being used as placeholders that aren't currently active. Now I will leave a link in the description below to his original source so you can see this information for yourself. Now in this list of game mode names, some of which we have seen in Battlefield 3, some of which are from other EA titles such as Medal of Honor 2010 and Medal of Honor Warfighter, which of course interestingly also shares the same Battlelog system as Battlefield 4. So the first of these game modes is Tank Superiority. We did see this in Battlefield 3. This was brought in with the Armored Kill DLC. Now moving on to number 2, we have Gunmaster. Again, another game mode we did see brought in with a DLC for Battlefield 3, this time Close Quarters. Now number 3 is called Combat Mission. Now the first time we saw this was actually in Medal of Honor 2010 and then again in Medal of Honor Warfighter. Very similar to the Rush game mode we see in the Battlefield series. Number 4 we have Squad Rush. Again, this is something we've seen in Battlefield 3 and in Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2. Now number 5 is Scavenger Mode. We saw this with the Aftermath DLC. Personally, the best game mode I think was brought into Battlefield 3 after the basic ones we saw with the original game. This game mode really changed up the way you play the game, the weapons you use, so I would love to actually see Scavenger Mode brought back into Battlefield 4. Now number 6 is called Sport. This is something people aren't sure really what this is. There is no title or game mode previously called Sport. And then number 7 we have Fireteam Survivor. Now this is something very similar to the stuff we saw in Medal of Honor. And finally we have Onslaught. Now of course this is a very famous co-op mission game mode we saw in Bad Company 2 that wasn't part of the VIP DLC system. This was a separate game mode you did buy and it wasn't included with your VIP pass. So after just a quick read through of all of those game modes, there does seem to be a pretty obvious pattern that all of these do feature in previous Battlefield games or in Medal of Honor, which of course also features on Battlelog. So unfortunately, this is where I have to tell you guys that all that information and those game modes are false. We won't actually be seeing that stuff come to Battlefield 4 just yet as we know it. Now we have the proof and evidence of this. I will put an image on the screen now and the link to the webpage in the description below. On Reddit, there was a reply from someone who works at DICE, an official at DICE called JB Ripley, and he says, and I will quote, "The code that was found is just a combined list of all the different game modes Battlelog supports, which includes the game modes from Battlefield 3 as well as Medal of Honor Warfighter. So unfortunately, it just means that all the information that has been found are just game modes that are on other games supported by Battlelog. So Tank Superiority, Gunmaster, Scavenger are all just game modes of course from Battlefield 3, and then Combat Mission, Fireteam Survivor are all things we saw in Medal of Honor Warfighter, again supported by Battlelog. But of course, this still leaves a question, well what about Squad Rush and Onslaught, both game modes we saw in Bad Company 2, which isn't actually on Battlelog. That game is still a Steam supported game. Well, the answer to this is because when Battlelog was first created, Bad Company 2 was actually temporarily tested out before the release of Battlefield 3. And this can still be seen in the co-op from Battlefield 3. If you go into the co-op mode, you will still sometimes see the Bad Company 2 logo accidentally on the screen. And this is still a remnants left behind from where Bad Company 2 was part of Battlelog, thus explaining why we see Squad Rush and Onslaught mode found in this game mode list in the code. So unfortunately, all these game modes which a lot of people were excited about, I myself would love to see Scavenger mode and Onslaught mode brought back into Battlefield 4. It does look like at the moment this isn't going to be the case and we aren't going to be seeing these game modes anytime soon. But now I want to hear from you guys in the comments below, which of these game modes would you have liked to see return the most? Maybe the game mode you enjoy actually isn't in that list. If you could have one game mode return from previous Battlefield titles or even Medal of Honor to Battlefield 4, which would it be? But again, if you did enjoy this video, please hit me up with a like, it does help me out and support the video a lot. But in the meantime guys, thank you for watching and I will see you soon.